Okay, good morning, everyone. This is our Simcoe County Planning Meeting for KICLEI. We're going to do some introductions this morning. I'm Maggie Braun, the founder of KICLEI, and we are going to go. I'd like to introduce Michelle and Jillian. Michelle is from the Barrie area, and Jillian is from the Orillia area. Those are the two cities that are in Simcoe County. So they're upper tier municipalities, but surrounded by Simcoe County. And then we'll introduce the rest of the group from the surrounding area. So let's start with Michelle. Welcome. Good
Good morning.
morning. And just a little bit about your background, if you feel like sharing.
Sure. Lived and worked Barrie area since graduating from University of Guelph. Have my husband and I have an engineering consulting firm, and I'm an engineer. Background is environmental engineering, and just over the last I've been doing this for almost 20 years, and just a profound shift in how things have been working from comparing my first 10 years to this last 10 years, and just really losing sight of practical approaches and sort of learning where that's been coming from, and really trying to take a more active role in seeing things get back to a more practical space that really serve our local communities. So that's why I'm here.
Perfect. We're happy to have you here. Thank you, Michelle. And Jillian has been following this work for quite some time, attended many events. You're with Action for Canada, lots of town halls,
Yeah.
I'll let you do your introductions there, but I appreciate your interest and dedication to this work. So go ahead.
Yeah, hi. So we probably got famous because of that letter. My friend Kathy and I tried to do a deputation on climate, and we got that letter that stated, which we were disappointed about, bummed out about, but not. But I think they did us the greatest favor by writing that they were part of the United Nations. So we have a lot, to target. So Kathy, she's not on here today, but she probably should be. She's an incredible researcher. She's our researcher, sheep analyst. She's just phenomenal in anything. She's got every record of everything that's been going on for 4 years. So great team. We have a business that's a 70-year-old business, Orillia Drywall, and all over Muskoka. So my husband and I have a health and wellness business. I've done a lot of public speaking in the area, and I tell you that because we're very well known in the area. So which is it kind of just, and my kids, I have 8 children, and they're all doing really well in the area, and they're starting to realize that they're very well liked, and now they're starting to piece us together. So it kind of blows their circuits that I'm not just some crazy radical. So that's a real plus, but it's a pretty tough thing. Yeah, so we just started our first town hall. We decided just to go to the neighborhood, and that got so much coverage. I have so many people in the area coming to me and saying, "Oh, so you're doing something," and it's been an amazing opportunity because I say we're known in the community, so they see my name or see my face, and then it gets their interest. So anyway, so that's a really good thing. And so what Maggie's doing I've been following Maggie and just waiting, holding, and saying to my one friend who wants to go for the jugular, just hold it. I think things are going to come into place. So this was such good news last week. It's like, oh my gosh. And then to have Michelle, oh my gosh, this is like, yes, this is happening. So yeah, that's me.
Fantastic. And just wait till you hear from the rest of the team. So I think next I'll introduce Shawneen. Thank you so much. Shawneen and Terry reached out to me, and really excited to see how we can tackle this in their township. And really, we found that the Partners for Climate Protection program was adopted at the county level and was being administered through the Conservation Authority, the Nottawasaga Conservation Authority. So Shawneen has helped to find that motion, and I don't see your camera on, Shawneen, or your mute. you unmuted. Are you able to speak now, or should I let Terry go ahead? So I just wanted to say Shawneen is the one who helped find the motion and did that background research. So really appreciate her for that. Terry, would you like to give a little introduction?
Thank you for that. For the opportunity. I'm retired. Have moved on to a second career as a screenwriter and actor. Having fun doing that. My concern coming into this, really, I awoke, as a lot of people did, to what is going on. I mean, awoke widely about 4 years ago. My concern is that doors are being shut on us as citizens, taxpayers, and voters. And I see I guess my job as opening those doors back up again, so that people, just because somebody disagrees with you, particularly our councils and our governing bodies, our representatives, if they don't like what they hear, they shut us down. And I feel my job is to remind them that you can't shut us down. So that is why I am here. I came across Maggie. I met Maggie at the Ontario Land Association annual general meeting. She was there as a guest with Tom Marazzo, who some of you may know from the Freedom Convoy Ottawa protest. And I knew right away, as soon as I heard, that she had a strategy, a tactic of getting back in and getting people that, again, are supposed to represent us, not lead us. I believe they represent us, to open those doors back up again. So that's why I'm here.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you very much. And you've been such a great networker in the area, and you found Simone and Glenna and Michelle, and so I think we'll introduce. Let's introduce Simone first, and then Glenna from there, and we'll kind of just work our way from the original core to now finding the people who are active in their townships, like Glenna. So go ahead, Simone.
Hi, good morning. So I'm going to say that I've probably been awake most of my life, all my life. My parents were immigrants from Europe and saw this happening as I was younger and kind of predicted. And as I grew up, I was always outspoken about it. I was always hailed as a conspiracy theorist. And sadly enough, these last 4 years, you know, I did not want to be right. But I've had a few select people come to me and actually say, oh my God, you were right, which I think gave me a little bit of hope to seeing that, you know, the world is possibly seeing the bigger picture. So I sell real estate and have for over 25 years. I'm originally from Toronto, but grew up part of my teenage years up here in the Alliston area. And this is where I have sold real estate. Actually, I'm all over the place because of another thing that I do, which is sport dog training. I train search and rescue and police dogs. So I'm all over the place, as well as in Europe. And so I just have a lot of connections, and I deal with a lot of people that have to listen to me when I'm standing in front of them, because I'm just very open about what I believe, and I do respect people's opinion. But I think, yeah, it's kind of nice now to see that the world is waking up, and real estate, I think, is a big, important issue, as our property rights are, and farming. My dad was a farmer, so I'm very involved in, you know, the food industry in our country is important. My dad was a beef farmer as well as a butcher, and so when I'm watching what's happening to our food, again, so yeah, just I guess I have my toes in many waters. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Thank you so much. I agree. It's great to have somebody that's connected with the real estate in and realtors, as well as the farmers in here. So I appreciate that, and the fact that you're a good networker in those networks is amazing, and a good speaker, and and so on. So
Thank you.
thank you, Simone. And now we have Glenna from Tiny Township, and you've been really active in your local councils already. You're very much aware of the issues happening in your township, and exactly the kind of person that we're here to bring together and support and work together with. So Glenna, if you wanted to do your introduction, it's great to have you here today. Oh, you're muted.
Am I on? Am I good?
Yes, we can add Kathy if yep.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. Sorry about all that. I get so interested in listening to the speakers, I forget. So yes, I'm from Tiny, Ontario, and I retired insurance, commercial insurance, for 35 years in 2019. And I first suspected there was something going on with insurance because I don't know if you remember, you used to be able to put this thing in your cigarette lighter that would give you a discount on your driving habits. And I went to a seminar, and what they were doing was reducing the premium for the people. And I questioned it. I said, all right, so we're given this discount. What's the ultimate goal for this? And the fellow who was presenting had no issues. He said, oh, this is to collect data. He said, we want to know where everybody goes, and what better than your car? And so I was a little aghast at that point. And I started to, well, first of all, I retired and started to do a deep dive on what was going on during COVID. So during the lockdowns, yes, I was baking and doing all those things, competing with my husband on who could bake better or whatever. But I also did a deep dive on all the things that were going on in the world at that point. So I went on to whatever seminar, webinar I could. I went to all the protests in Barrie and Queen's Park and Chalou's connection to it. So I have done a deep dive, and I'm still doing the deep dive. And I never expected that I would be doing it for my own town of Tiny. And it's unfortunate, but I'm plowing away through it with Lori's help.
And I'm
Thanks.
so glad we have Lori here. She reached out to me, we were back and forth with the potential of me coming down for the Ontario Landowners Association barbecue. Is that July 19th? 29th? Something, don't ask me what day it is, or
The 11th or the 18th.
Would you like me to chime in?
yes, please.
Yeah, so I was hoping you would speak at our barbecue that we're planning. It's for September 8th. We're still in the early stages of planning, so we don't have a lot done, but we're also doing a protest on July 31st. So that might be what you're thinking. And that's for the Tiny Township administrative building, the giant monstrosity, ridiculously expensive stupidity that no one wants in our township and is opposing, but our council is determined to push it through, and a bunch of us are banding together to stop it. Glenna is one of them. Shaunene's been helping, and Karen Zulinek, which you guys will meet another time, I guess. Karen's been a big part of she is organizing the protest, basically.
Wonderful. Do we know the address and time for that protest on July 31st?
Yeah, so
You sent a poster.
maybe Glenna knows the exact address, but it's at our community hall in Tiny, which is on Bomb Beach Road. Like, I don't know the
Nice.
exact number, but it's on Bomb Beach Road, right in front of the community center. And we're doing it that day because as part of their push to put through this building, you know, they have to put the pretense on that we have some say we've been saying we don't want it, but they're allowing us to give our input on what the communal areas of the new building will have. So we're taking every opportunity in these information centers to let them know that, no, we don't want this, and, you know, ask the pointed questions. And they're really, at the last public information center that they had last Tuesday, they talked a lot about the net zero. It's all about the net zero, the climate change, and you guys will find this funny. So it's got a flat roof, so it's going to catch the rain so that they can recycle the rain. And someone said, what about the snow accumulation? Well, they didn't really have an answer for that. We have way more snow than rain in this area, so it's just ridiculous.
Now, I
There's a lot.
just want to say for the notes, thank you, Lori. That protest is at 1:30. The address is 130 Bomb Beach Road, July 31st, from 4:45 to 6 p.m. to oppose the construction of a massive administrative building on Concession 9. So I think a lot of this happens for a reason. As I've been saying, the entire KICLEI movement has a spirit of its own. And you saw the logo, there's the child kicking the ball in the street sign.
Mhm.
And I feel that when the words were spoken, it just went out, and it was like a ball that was passed from municipality to municipality, and we've all kind of echoed back at each other. And just for I find it so incredible that we have people in this group, now that we're going to move on and take on the county and 2 cities all at once, that are from my hometown. And I grew up in Tiny Township, right? So
Oh,
even though
yeah?
I'm
Where?
not Penetanguishene, Kootenai Beach.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
So yeah, my dad, it was a boat mechanic at a couple of the different marinas. He owned the mechanic shops there, and always cottaged on Georgian Bay. So so here we are, taking back our hometowns, right?
Yeah.
So it's really good when people can focus on where they have that circle of influence. And even within my network, I would say, you know, my original Facebook friend group, at least a fifth of those people are from that area. So when we launch
Cool.
this, it's going to pull together a bigger community than we can than we think initially. Well, I know it will, but just wanted to share that with you. Okay, so we also, Shawneen, you're up and running. Thank you, Lori. Is that all you wanted to share about your background and how you've gotten into this? Would you like
Well,
to
I
share
could share a
bit
little more if you want.
Yeah. Yeah, let's.
So it was an interesting way that I ended up here through Shawneen and Karen. I don't know if it was Shawneen and Karen that met, I believe, or maybe it was Simone. Was it you, Simone? Yeah, so Karen and Simone met, and they just happened to start talking about what's going on in Tiny and the KICLEI movement and all of that. And so then Shawneen reached out to me. So that's how I got involved. Glenna, I met at a town hall, or council meeting where we were there opposing the build, and her husband was very passionate about it, and we were standing up loudly expressing our views on it. And we had council kind of shaking in their boots a little bit, I'll have to say. Maybe it wasn't the best strategy, but they saw our passion at least. And I just wanted to say one more thing. So in our area, Tiny, Tay, Penetang, Midland, we're part of a group called Midland Community Hub, and we've been working together since August 20, I guess 2020, 2021. I probably started getting involved in around 2021. So we were gathering during lockdowns and just opposing the whole COVID narrative together. The group has shifted and changed and split up a few times since then. But we're still working on these things. So our focus more is on our community, and we're following your local to global way of thinking, I guess. We really like that idea, so we're involved there. And then we also take on different topics and do some fun, interesting things around that too. So just
Oh,
wanted to
that's
put that out there.
wonderful. Thank you. No, it's a great reminder of, and we'll discuss it in the meeting today, what groups are working in that area, and we should reach out to them and let them know what we're doing, and make sure that we bring all those groups together and at least, network together and get as many people engaged and supporting our recommendations moving forward. So just put that out there. If you can think, we'll get to it and we can list them off later. If you can think of any other groups in your area that are working, that are like-minded, we can reach out to them after. So last but not least, Shawneen, a master networker in your area.
It's called
Welcome.
attention deficit. I'm here and there and everywhere, and I drive people crazy, but it's part of my nature. And I did work for a member of parliament for 8 years. So I learned a lot about government and how awful everything is there. But anyway, so this has just been, I am so thrilled to be working with all of you here. And Maggie, you are just a godsend. It's phenomenal. It's shocking to see. For me, I was shocked, even though I think I'm a realist, when I realized what happened. And thanks to Terry, he told me what you were doing. And yeah, I just hit people directly, like this could be you losing everything you've ever worked for all your life. It's critical that you get up and start, doing something. So no, I am thrilled. And Tiny Township, they're an amazing group up there. They're doing fantastic. I'm having trouble getting the press, which really bothers me, up there, but I'm still working on it. I've sent them your press package, and I will continue to try to cut through all that. There's a lot of stuff happening, in the world, so I know that is an issue, but no, so I'm looking forward to it. And I read the resolution on the Simcoe County. Excellent. And your connection with the NVCA, I didn't realize. It drove me crazy. So thank you. I get it now. And I gave a presentation, just so you know, to the Alliston Business Association. And I was shocked to find out there were 2 members of council on that committee. So it was quite a surprise, and we surprised them with a video. I didn't even know. The fellow that was doing it with me gave this video about climate change. Well, they said we sucked all the oxygen right out of the room. But he said, how come we haven't told, you haven't told, it hasn't been brought to council? And I said, well, we're just starting to let people know in the community what's really happening. They don't know. Anyway, so it's been quite the journey, and I look forward to Simcoe County and all the work you guys are doing. Fantastic.
Thank you so much, Shawneen. Great job. And we have one Kathy Kerr is here from Aurelia. Jillian introduced her earlier, a great researcher in the area. Welcome, Kathy. Glad to have you here. I'm sorry you missed the introductions at the beginning, but you've caught a few.
Thanks, Maggie.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Just want to give us a little background on what you've been working on in Aurelia.
Sure.
And
can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, great. Well, Jillian and I have been working on this together for, well, how long, Jillian? About 2 years at least, I think. We have our own, we're working through with Action for Canada, and we're building our numbers for sure. But we started out trying to, in Aurelia, the council was trying to mandate that all their employees show proof of vaccination. So we put together, I think it was about a 50-page document for council, for all the members of council and the CAO and the deputy clerk. And as a result, that was taken off. So the mandate
Good.
was lifted. We like to think it was us. I hope it was. But what it did, it prevented us from speaking further. I spoke on a 3-minute, not even a deputation. They give you 3 minutes open forum at the end of a meeting if it's not related to what's on the agenda. And I spoke on DEI because they were going to give well, they did give $10,000 to the DEI committee. And I tried to tell them about how dangerous it was. And they said, well, thank you very much. Now we'll have a vote. Okay, yes, we're all voting for it. Good. Okay, thank you. So they already have, it's like the Delphi technique, right? They are all ready with their decision and they just go ahead with it. I'm starting to go to different town councils. I used to live in Ramera, so I know the mayor there. I've started going to Severn Council and getting to be known there. We do have a councillor, I believe, that's on side there, but none of the councillors in Aurelia are on side. They are totally blind to what's going on. Either that or they're so corrupt they don't want to hear from us. Anyway, that's what we're doing. I do a lot of research. I've got cases of it. You know, every time a peer-reviewed article comes out, I always print everything. My husband says, "You're killing so many trees." I said, "Yeah, that's because everything disappears if you don't." So, you know, even the court cases, I try and, you know, put those onto print also in case we have to represent ourselves one day. So that's what we're up to. We're pretty busy. We have a working group with Jillian and about 5 other people that we meet with every Tuesday morning. So, and we just had Donald Lee. I'm sure he told you that he spoke on behalf of in Aurelia. So that was great too. So
Great.
that's what
Great.
we're up.
Great job. Great job over there. So thank you so much, Kathy, and everyone for your introductions. We're going to move on to what we covered last week and just make sure see where we are in our process. So as I said, we've found the motion for Simcoe County, and so Shawneen and I looked at that. Shawneen found it, and I've had a look at that, and I've sent out a potential report draft that we can work off of now. And I'm wondering if we could get the motion for Aurelia and Barrie to join the Partners for Climate Protection Program. So has anyone found those motions yet? I believe Aurelia probably has theirs.
Yes.
Kathy who was working on that? Or do we have that? Because I remember someone was trying to get that information. And we'll work on that, Maggie, and see what we can find.
Okay, let me know if you need any help with that.
Maybe
I
with
know
the
I did call them. Oh, go ahead, Shawneen.
I was on the phone yesterday on Friday, for probably 20 minutes to try to get a hold of someone to get that motion. Like it's always worked before. I couldn't get a soul. Like I'm wondering how many people work at Barrie, but I got not one human person on there. So I, as of Friday, sent a request to have a copy of that motion through email. Just an FYI, whether that goes anywhere or not, I'm not sure, but just I thought I'd let you know that.
Okay. So, and I know I called Aurelia, you were having trouble getting that motion. So maybe that one got stalled out. So that will be an action item for us this week to make sure that we get those 2 motions. So, Jillian and Kathy, can we kind of work together and decide how we want to approach that? And and Michelle, can we look at getting the Barry motion and we can work together on that one? Go ahead, Terry.
I'm wondering if both Barry and Aurelia check to see. I think they are both members of the MVCA. I don't know if that helps.
Mm,
What is
I
the
think that
MBCA?
Simcoe, Lake Simcoe has its own conservation authority.
Oh,
I could be
So
wrong.
for example, Barry has both, like the top, the tip of the watershed runs through Barry, so a portion of Barry goes to Lake Simcoe.
Not Aurelia. So Aurelia wouldn't be MVCA member. They'd be Lake Simcoe.
Probably only Lake Simcoe, maybe a cusp of the western edge could be an NVCA. I'm not 100%.
I'm almost thinking, because they're so upfront about their climate action plan, it might be similar to Peterborough, and their joining resolutions might be embedded on their climate action plan web pages. Or
I feel like I've seen Barry, so I'll just look at the notes that I have on Barry for sure.
okay,
Super.
and while you're looking into it, feel free to, here in Peterborough, they were really upfront about the fact in their documents that they were implementing and tracking Peterborough's progress towards the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and the strategic plan for sustainable Peterborough was filled with the global agenda language. So I find that that's really useful to have. So if you see anything like that, screenshot it and just save the links. That'd be fantastic. So so next week, whatever we find on that, we can kind of bring forward and share if that works. Okay, fantastic. Now in doing the reconsideration motion for the County of Simcoe, I've kind of embedded the proposal for a local environmental stewardship plan, really just putting the ball back in their court. So ultimately, the council can recommend to staff to initiate this plan and this proposal and go from there. So I don't think we need to put too much effort into it, but we'll have a look at that soon. And now, and I do want to get into that. So these are the various townships in Simcoe County, including Barry and Aurelia. And what we're looking for is dates that we could go in to speak, as well as delegates for these areas. So I can reach out to our network now that we are formulating our plan moving forward and see who is following the work and interested to speak in these areas. But if you see to be determined on one of these townships and you have a recommendation for someone who might be able to speak in these areas, let me know.
And maybe I was going to volunteer for maybe one or two more. Would you prefer to have more people?
No, I think you'd be a great speaker to lead the way in this. So if there's ones in particular, or
I was gonna say Innisfil for sure.
okay.
And then there's another few, like it could be Bradford, and Springwater. I mean,
Michelle,
Okay.
can you maybe address, do you think I should do Agilitas? I don't think so because of my my property there. So I'm working with Michelle on something in that actual location business wise. But if Michelle wants to speak on it, I'm behind you 100%. Don't know if it's a good idea if I do. What do you think, Michelle?
I think the reason you think maybe you shouldn't is the reason you should sometimes, but
Okay. All right.
but I mean, I'm
Okay.
because I think you have such a visceral experience there and how things have changed, right? Like working through things for more than a decade. It's
Yeah.
I think like I love the stories, but I mean uh I'm flexible here and I totally understand what you're saying.
All right.
Well, we will leave that to you. You don't have to confirm one way or another today. Just maybe as this develops, you might feel more comfortable speaking to it, or you might decide to have someone else. So I see, Jillian, your hand is up. Do you have some suggestions for this one?
Well, for us, Kathy and I, we are very happy to speak, and also we have our aeronautical engineer as well on our team, and they just wanted us speak. So we may have to get a fresh face coming in.
Would you be interested in speaking in some of the surrounding townships around Aurelia?
Yeah, I think Kathy, did she go? Or looks like she's gone. It's been kicked off. Yeah, yes, we could definitely yes, we probably would. I would
So
say.
which ones are directly around Aurelia?
So Ramara, so that would be a good one because our engineer lives there. Now that was the one that had the Pastor Pulowski thing where they kicked us out of the building. I don't know if you all saw that. So that's kind of interesting. And that, in fact, that mayor, it runs the Simcoe. He's I don't know what you call him. He's the Reeve of Simcoe, the whole of Simcoe. So he would be a very good person to know. And so yeah. So the climate, a lot of those climate decisions come through that Simcoe. I don't know what you call it.
And Severn too, Jillian.
Yes, and 7-2. Yeah,
Have it
yeah.
in there.
Kathy's
Yeah.
in there, which is really good. So definitely, but Basil Clark, he's a farmer too, and he has seen his land taken. So he's kind of, he may be I don't know. I think that there's a positive thing, but he's a good one because he's the Reeve of Simcoe. I think
Okay.
I think Kathy might correct me on that one. But yeah, so we could definitely do Severn, Ramara. Who else is there? Aramadante. I have no connections with. I used to live in Aramadante, so that's a possibility. I think. It's actually Aramadante. They have they're fighting the land grab stuff. So that's yeah. I do have a word out to try and connect with those people. So maybe there.
Okay, does anything else come to mind when we look at these areas? Any people that we might want to reach out to that are active in these areas or groups in these areas?
I've got, Maggie?
Yep.
I have Paul and Diana I targeted for Bradford West Gwillimbury, and they kind of they're there, and they were going to meet up with one of the counselors there to discuss stuff. So there is a target for that one, and also yeah, Bradford West Gwillimbury. There's and Wasaga Beach, I've got somebody there that's supposed, I mean, I know the guy that was the head of the Conservation Authority there, who he told me to talk to, who I did, and the guy wouldn't call me back after I talked. So that was the end of that. But Wasaga Beach, we should be able to get somebody there, and even Collingwood. So those are a couple that I'm still kind of working on to get people to cover.
Well, I think once we put the message out too, I know there's a lot of people just on the
Yes.
KICLEI Canada page that are saying that they're from these areas too. So
Should
that's
I do a
great. Laura,
posting on that
go ahead.
Facebook page? Should I do do a request on that Facebook page to see if there's anyone there that could private message me? If they
I
are
think
in
I
this
think what
list.
I'll do a report after this
Okay.
meeting and we'll put it out from there.
Yeah.
And can we use, can people contact and CC me, but use you as a main coordinator contact as for the emails for this? I'm
Yeah.
still looking for okay, perfect. I'm gonna make a note of that.
Becky, is that the KICLEI email? Like, which email are we using? Or
So Shawneen has been pretty good at bringing together the network and manning emails and stuff. So as far as we need a main email, right? And our thoughts on that. Do you think it should we set up a separate email for KICLEI Simcoe? And then yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
And then have we can kind of share administration on it. So KICLEI Simcoe. I'll set that up. And
Oh, the other thing is attending council meetings. We're trying to encourage everybody that we meet to start going, not to say anything, but just to go there and listen to become aware of what's happening in each of their communities.
now something that Paul and Sharon from the Kitchener-Waterloo area did is they put together a nice list and spreadsheet of all the different townships in their area and the dates and times of the next meetings. And I thought that would be kind of a great spreadsheet to have available. That would probably take somebody an hour, maybe 2 hours to get the raw data for, maybe just an hour. Is somebody able to grab that information just so we're not all kind of doing it for each one? If one person could do that, and is there a volunteer who would be good? I'm just going to pick someone. There's no volunteer.
That's the way you do it, girl.
Shanine, I'm already getting you to get
no one leaves the room. So what emails am I doing in it? Is that the same type of thing? Like, is it something that would be a connection with what you're talking about? Or something different?
Something different.
Okay.
So once we start our public awareness campaign, we need an email address so people can connect with us, right? Or ask questions. So we'll set up that email, and I'm hoping that you can keep an eye on that email and kind of be the secretary for this group, if that's okay. Shawneen,
Okay.
do you accept the nomination to be the secretary for Simcoe KICLEI group?
I guess I will.
Thank you. All in favor?
Turn coats.
Okay, so what we need is somebody who can go look at the websites for these municipalities and get their next meeting dates and times and address, I suppose. Shawneen, is that something you're able to do?
So just to get the agendas and
The
or
dates,
the dates of the council meetings,
times, and address, and maybe a link to their agenda page.
If I may, Shawneen, so you don't feel too overwhelmed, I can help you with that.
I was just gonna say the same thing. Okay.
Well, maybe we can split it. So, and I have a couple
Okay.
other things when you're ready to give me a moment.
Okay. And in the email I sent out last time, I sent the email of all the counselors for all of Simcoe County. Okay. So we already have that information ready to go once we start our correspondence campaign with them and start providing them with the information that we're putting forward. Okay. So that will be fantastic. So I know that we can get that done by our next meeting on Monday. We can have the next date and time. Lori, go ahead. Sorry, your hand's been up for a while. Jump in.
Hi. Okay, sorry. Okay, so while you were talking, there's a few things I can share with you. So we potentially have someone for Oro Medonte. His name's Nigel. He's in our Midland Community Hub group. He attends our meetings just about every Tuesday. He's takes breaks once in a while, but he's very aware of what's going on. He did do a deputation, I guess last month, maybe the month before, and just to get the feelers out to see where council sits on it. And as I think it was Terry said, they're really focusing on the land grabs. I guess Barry is trying to take some of their land. So he's someone that I can connect you with or get him to connect with you for Oro Medonte. For Wasaga, I know we're going to be talking about the groups later, but there is a Wasaga Freedom group. And I have connections to many of them through our Telegram chat groups. So I know I've put the bug in their ear a while ago and no one's bitten, but I can try again, maybe knowing that there's a full-on campaign and they'll get more support. There might be someone, so I can
Super.
contact them to see if someone will, so what do you need them to do? To get the resolution?
Oh, no, we'll
No.
get all of that for them, but
Okay.
if they could
Just to contact you.
yeah, if we could send them information on what we're doing, bring maybe one of them in for the meetings so that we can
Okay.
have a Wasaga contact. Ideally, we would have this as a core planning group, but then we would have, just like the county has, a representative from each of these
Yeah.
areas
Yeah.
and a representative from each group, right? So if there's
Yeah.
different groups in the area, even Action for Canada, if they have someone, if Ontario Landowners has someone, a representative from each group to kind of also be on the side and stay in the loop with what we're doing, so they know when delegations are going off in their area, they know what the petition looks like and where to get it and what our flyers look like, so that we can have people on the ground with the flyers and the petition in each area. And then all of that can be sent to, yeah.
I don't know if September 8th is too late, but that would be a huge opportunity. You could have a table just for KICLEI and have all of that there.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah.
And you wouldn't necessarily have to be the one to man the table. I can try to get a volunteer for that. So if you just tell me yes today, I'll put that on the agenda for a meeting tomorrow night, and I can add it to my I guess networking communications and see if someone will volunteer to do that table.
September 8th. Yes. Yeah. I would love to be down there. I can't wait to get back to my
Yeah.
hometown.
So those were the two I wanted to tell you. Oh, and there's also Tay. We have someone for Tay as well. Jerry Auger and Toddy McLeaming. They've both been very involved in the meetings. They've been going to council meetings. I'm not sure if they've done any delegations yet, but they've been doing their research on what's going on with Tay. And Tay seems to be they might be a little bit more open to rescinding and that kind of stuff, because they did put a bit of a brakes on the SSEA. When SSEA did their presentation, they refused some of it, saying it's too much money or whatever. So
okay, great.
And I also I know I've been sending you the link. If it helps you, we could utilize that Telegram group that I have set up, and I can administrate that. So if you wanted to use it for the core group and have us all on there, most of us are already on there. Shaunene's on there, Glenna's on there. Who else?
And that group
Terry
was called the Midland Community Hub?
No, so this one, it's called Simcoe KICLEI. or KICLEI
Awesome. Oh, yes,
Simcoe.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Please send me that because I did see it and then I went to look back and I didn't see it anymore. So
Okay, I sent it in
that
an
would
email
be
and I also sent it on our Substack. So you'd probably be able to find it on our Substack
okay.
little chat. And I don't know if you're getting the Substack through my own personal one or the Midland Community Hub one. It's very confusing.
Okay, no, that's fantastic. And can we share that link with people
Yeah.
from the Simcoe area so that they can, oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, you can share, you can utilize it however you want.
Lori is an
Okay.
absolute gem. She's amazing.
Oh, thank you,
Oh, that's
Shawneen.
No, you are.
great. Whew. That makes me happy because we set up the KICLEI Facebook page and then the
Mhm.
provincial chat groups. But really what we need is to move the chat groups off onto Telegram or Signal and break them up by municipality. So so this will be a great example of that, right?
Yeah, it's already set up. All you have to do is add
Yep.
the people, share the link and add the people.
That's fantastic. Now, would we put that out as an announcement and article as a link there? Would you be able to handle if people just randomly click on it and aren't
Mhm.
from the area? You can handle that? Okay.
Yeah.
We know how to kick people out?
Yes, I've done it. I had to kick Cam out, so yeah,
Thank you.
no problem.
We are kicking out the international organization, so we shouldn't have a
Yeah,
problem kicking out
Yeah,
trolls,
easy,
right? So
easy.
No, no problems there. I can do that.
oh,
Speaking of
that's
kicking out,
great.
And if anybody wants to co-administrate, just let me know. I can add them as an administrator. I'm the owner and administrator at this point. So however you want to use it is fine with me.
Okay, that's great. Now, how are we for time? Now, I wanted to share, okay, I shared that we have the all the emails for all the clerks. That's in this email attachment. Kathy, I will add you. I will forward this to you because you didn't get it yet. So that's a spreadsheet with all the emails that we can use. There's also an instructional manual for opting out of internationally driven programs. And for the recording after, I'll make sure I attach that as a PDF so people who are across the country doing this work can see where they are at in the steps to opt out. You know, sometimes it starts with finding that motion and doing that research and moving it forward step by step. And now I'm going to jump to what was sent earlier, just before the meeting. There we go. Everyone can see that. So we found this is the wording of the original motion to join for the Simcoe County. And this is essentially a report that we can start to base our delegations off of and send to our counselors in Simcoe County. So it's a recommendation that Simcoe County withdraw from the voluntary KICLEI framework, which is what they call it, and its Partners for Climate Protection program due to concerns about high costs, data privacy, recommendations that do not align with local needs, and to prioritize energy security over greenhouse gas reduction targets. This recommendation emphasizes creating a locally driven climate strategy that aligns with the community's values, priorities, and financial capabilities. So I thought of changing that word climate strategy to a locally driven environmental stewardship strategy, just to get away from climate altogether. Not that we're opposed to renewable energy and all of this good stuff, but it can all fall under an environmental stewardship program. So I will switch that word out and just looking for any feedback. I know I sent it out a little bit just briefly before the meeting, but if we'd like to take a minute and see this report and any suggestions or additions. And I want to respect your time here as well. Does anyone need to run off, or do we have another 15 minutes we can go through this?
So
Okay.
I would like to know one thing. So
Yeah.
is our strategy to go to the county of Simcoe, or is it to go to some of our lower tier municipalities first, then go to county of Simcoe? Reason I'm asking is, if we go to Simcoe, I still believe that because your councillors are made up of mayors and councillors, then we can do, let's say, this presentation to the county and then do a follow-up in all the other townships.
I think
Or do
the
we
best
flip it?
strategy I've seen so far is to do delegations in the main cities, even though they're not part of Simcoe County. So we want to do something like this as well, do a report very similar to this for Barrie and Aurelia. We'll send it to them and we'll get on their agenda. We'll do our presentation. The councillors in the rural municipalities and townships are going to hear that, most likely, because they're watching the cities. And then at the same time, we'll do delegations in the townships. And by September, October, we'll go in and do our main presentation there, knowing full well that they're well aware of our concerns, and we're going to have a ton of signatures and public support behind us at that point when we finally go for the head of the snake, right? So does that make sense? And that's just it's not, we're not going to be able to control and perfectly align this because, of course, dates and everything, they set the dates on when we can do delegations. They're going to try and deny our delegations and all this stuff we're going to have to deal with as we go, right? But at the end of the day, we're going to get in, we're going to get our message out there, we're going to get a ton of signatures, and we're going to get on the agenda for Simcoe County. So okay, so let's read through here, which you might be doing already, and then we can take some feedback. So we can go step by step here. It's not that long. So I read the purpose. Would someone like to read the background?
Oh,
Can you see that okay?
yeah, you can take the blue off. It's easier for me. Thank you. The KICLEI framework and the PCP program are voluntary initiatives not mandated by the province of Ontario. I'm sorry, I'm cut off by the somebody else. I'm cut off by the Zoom on mine.
Oh, I can move that.
Can you move that?
Oh, you can move it as well.
Yeah, you can move it around if you pick it up and move it.
Yeah, unfortunately, that button on my computer is screwing up, so it won't let me move.
Is that better?
No, I'm still on the right side. Somebody
Need it
else
on
want
the
to?
top. You need the pictures on the top.
Yeah, let's see if
You
I
need them to
can.
go up to the top.
Yeah, I don't know if I can.
At the top, you can press that line and it'll just get rid of the pictures altogether. If you're on your laptop.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just the minus thing at the top. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, mine, it's covering that.
I can read it if you want.
Yeah, go ahead. You read it. Somebody else.
Go
take it.
ahead, Lori. Go ahead, Lori. Thank you.
Sorry, I forgot I muted myself. I didn't realize I muted myself back. The KICLEI framework and the PCP program are voluntary initiatives not mandated by the province of Ontario. Ontario municipalities are only required to complete an energy consumption and demand report every 5 years to determine the electricity used in municipal buildings occupied by people. The KICLEI and PCP programs involve extensive additional data collection, high cost mandates, and recommendations to reduce population growth in rural communities in favor of urban areas. These factors raise significant concerns about data privacy. financial burden, and the potential impact on the character and sustainability of Simcoe County's rural areas. Specifically, the PCP program involves extensive data harvesting of all corporate and community energy consumption and waste data, which residents have not been notified of.
Very good.
Do you want me?
Any thoughts on that? Does that sum it up well?
Yeah.
Let's keep going and we can add any feedback if we're missing anything afterwards. Could we have a volunteer read the rationale for withdrawing? Good practice public speaking.
I'll go.
Go ahead.
So rationale for withdrawing. Number 1, voluntary nature. The KICLEI framework and PCP program are voluntary, meaning Simcoe County can choose to withdraw at any time without penalty. Number 2, provincial requirements. Ontario municipalities are only required to report on energy consumption and demand every 5 years for municipal buildings occupied by people, not the extensive data collection mandated by KICLEI and PCP. Number 3, data privacy and security. The extensive data harvesting required by the PCP program poses significant risks to privacy and data security for residents and businesses in Simcoe County. Residents have not been adequately notified or consulted about this data collection. Number 4, financial burden. The high costs associated with green building standards, electric fleets, bike lanes, and municipal building upgrades constrain the county's budget and lead to increased taxes. Number 5, local relevance. Recommendations to reduce rural population growth and redirect it to urban areas do not align with the priorities or needs of Simcoe County, particularly in preserving the rural character and supporting local economies. Number 6, energy security. Prioritizing energy security ensures stable and affordable energy supplies for residents and businesses, which is crucial for economic stability and community well-being. Number 7, economic impact. High cost mandates and population redirection can negatively impact local businesses and residents, leading to economic challenges and reduced quality of life.
Thank you very much.
Love it.
Have we missed anything?
I just,
Sorry, just a quick question. Do we want to put something in there about the agricultural facet of the rural part, saying that, you know, a lot of farmers are going to be finding themselves stressed and already are being, you know, we're definitely minimizing our farmers and our food production in not just Simcoe County, in all of Canada, but I guess we're dealing with Simcoe County, and just saying, you know, farmers have a hard enough time. We're definitely negating them tax-wise as well. Just maybe, I don't know, highlighting the agricultural aspect of it.
I can definitely add that in. Great point. Now, I included bike, actually, I'll just say I included bike lanes there, but I feel like I could have listed a ton of other things, and I might be missing some really important ones as well. And I wanted Michelle's feedback on that, the financial burden, and maybe a point about the red tape that's involved.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna, I think that's a good one. That's really, you know, people in the construction industry are really seeing and feeling, and there's a really strong construction industry, and a lot of people, like a lot of our contacts are, that is sort of the inroad, is this red tape and lack of practical approach to any development approvals. And I think that's where, like, maybe I'll go back to like the landowners, like, inability to sever land. These are things you had said months ago, Maggie, and that sort of brought me on to onto KICLEI, the limited natural development of rural townships, kind of giving the control back. And I know that's kind of going away from the financial burden piece, but I think that's where the local community is really, it's sort of bubbling out.
Agreed.
Okay, great points. We can add that in. I see a couple other hands up. Go ahead. Whoever
Yeah,
would like.
yes, I'm not sure how you'd word that, but when we go to the sustainable meetings, it seems like they have these people that are already doing they have to do research. So right now someone's researching to have electric buses in Aurelia, and I think it was, I'm not sure, Kathy, but was that at $90,000? So there's a lot of money going towards all that research that they have to do for the green energy. I don't know if that's something in wording that you want to add. I always see when I'm going cycling, I always see they've hired people to measure the water levels, and that's all to do with the climate, stuff as well. So that's more income going. So yeah, so the sort of taxpayers carrying that burden.
Very good. Great point. And is there another hand up?
Yeah, can I go?
Go ahead, Lori. Yep.
Okay, so there's a few things when we're talking about tiny townships. So I agree with Simone when she's talking about the farmers. That's a big part of tiny township, and that would be an important thing to bring up. When we're talking about the local relevance and the rural population growth, there's a little bit of a misalignment there. So in here, you're saying that they're trying to redirect it to urban areas, but in tiny, it appears that they're planning for a large growth, which we don't anticipate or see coming, but they seem to think it's very important that we prepare for something because they want to put in this gigantic new building, which brings me to the part where you talk about the building upgrades. I don't know if you wanted to add in there and or new buildings, because that's been a common thing happening in the townships. I know that I think it's Tottenham or New Tecumseh.
Yeah.
They were fighting that and they weren't able to stop it. Renfrew is another one.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you wanted to add some language there about that. And also back to, I believe, Gillian, when you talked about, I don't know, something you said triggered this for me where you talked about borrowing money. So tiny township can borrow up to $65 million for whatever. And obviously they're using those numbers because they want to push this build. So that might be another aspect, that these townships think they can borrow all kinds of money without any repercussions, and our taxes will only go up $75 a year, they're telling us. So I don't know if there's a place for that here or if that's important, but I thought I should bring those up.
Great points. Great points. Thank you, Lori.
So overall, I agree, overall fiscal responsibility is extremely important, but also to support Simone's suggestion. I mean, the farmers, I think, is huge. It should be a huge issue. It should be relegated to a priority spot, and then balance it off with the business end of things, how our business is being affected, because all of us who are, let's say, in the middle class, where we can still barely afford the homes that we are living in, everyone is affected by all of that. But there's a huge push right now that we can tag off on the farmers movement. So I think we should definitely consider that. Thank you, Simone, for suggesting that.
Yeah. So sorry, just to Laurie's quick synopsis there. If they're saying it's only $75 a year, that the increase of the taxes, that doesn't mean they're not going to bring in a new tax or a levy or something else. So that's, a way for them to negate where the reality of this price tag is going to be.
Well, everybody is asking for money that they have to borrow. Everybody is now into borrowing money. Nothing is paying for it anymore. The money that's coming in that pays for things is already, it's gone. It's gone as soon as the year opens up. So if you want to do something new, like this new crazy building you guys are fighting up there, like we lost out on, they're borrowing money to build it. I mean,
By
that's
the way,
insane.
Tiny Township at this moment has zero debt.
Wow.
They want to put us in
Yeah.
debt.
Now they want to put you in debt.
Yes, the counselor, Walma, who's the one that signed us on to the PCP and all that, by the way, Federation of Canadian Municipalities and all that. That was his answer to us. Well, we need debt. We need good debt. We need to put Tiny in debt. He literally said that to us.
Wow.
So if I may then, Lori, on that, how do you respond to something like that when you have an individual that believes going into debt is a good thing? Where does
I
that come
believe
from? And what is their rationale behind going into debt is a good thing?
I mean, in the meeting, we just put it because we had our sort of narrative, if you will, that the points we were sticking to, and we circled back to the point that it's still a huge gap between what the constituents or ratepayers are wanting and asking for and what they're doing. So that's how we addressed that one pretty much.
Yeah.
And all of their stupidity, to be frank.
We were told that Aurelia by our building inspector that Aurelia's taxes next year will go up 10% because of Doug Ford's dropping all the builders, I don't know what you call it, my brain's gone blank, but their permits. So anyway, so I mean, and that's a huge chunk, and that will definitely wake people up at that point, if not now.
That's what's going to bankrupt us and to have people lose their properties. Bottom line, they can put in any price they want. If they put whatever debt they do, that's what scares me the most.
People are already facing the mortgage inflation, right? The interest rate increase there. So their budgets are already strapped and
already our representatives, when they are looking for money, they are going to that next tier up of government to ask for money, when those next tiers up are also teetering on the brink of bankruptcy.
Well, they are. Like the federal government right now owes $2 trillion. Provincial in Ontario is 400 billion. There's no money. There isn't any anywhere. This is absolutely the scariest thing I've ever seen. So I'm thrilled we're all getting on board.
Right.
And
so the thing is, though, if you point that out to, let's say, your counselors or sometimes even your own neighbors, it doesn't quite for some reason it's not sinking in right now. So you don't want to scare them off and go, well, you know, there's the Rothschilds out there want to bankrupt us all so they can pick up our houses for pennies on the dollar. You don't want to go that way, but there has to be a way in to make them start thinking about that, because for some reason, as Lori and we here in New Tecumseh have, it just isn't occurring to them to be fiscally responsible. How does that happen when you have a prime minister and a financial minister running the country the way they are?
So I think, thank you everyone for your great points on the rationale for withdrawing. So the recommendation is here in a sample resolution. I think we can.
In here too is also climate in the, I think I've screwed up my screen, but at the bottom of that is, you also mention climate. So I think you just have to change that up to meet your new approach to how you're speaking on climate change. Right.
Yeah. So this aspect here, so obviously the recommendation is that they withdraw from the program. And further, that the county initiates the development of a locally driven, we'll change this to environmental stewardship strategy and action plan with the following steps. And then we lay out the steps, right? These are the steps that they will always take. They'll establish a local advisory committee. They'll conduct community consultation. They'll focus on cost-effective environmental protection, promote rural development. And I think some of these suggestions will shift after I update our rationale a little bit. So there'll be a bit more regarding, what we would like them to promote. And then ensure transparency and accountability, promote energy security and economic stability, and explore legal and legislative measures. So if there are any legal options, well, we already know that that is voluntary, so I'll update this as well. They can opt out at any time, but there may be some legalities to that. Have they taken funding to finish up certain projects? Cool, let them finish up those projects, but have a dividing line between, the withdrawal, finish up the projects, moving on to a more local environmental stewardship plan moving forward. And I can update this. Climate strategy wording as well. Sorry, ChatGPT does a wonderful job with some of this work, but it also we do need to make sure we finesse it with our own mission. So, and then it gives an example of a sample resolution. So what I'll do after I'm done here today, I'll send this back to you updated, and we can use that if you have anything that you see as a glaringly obvious change that needs to be made, maybe let me know within the next 24 hours, and then I can start to push this out and use it as the basis of our PR campaigns, and start making some videos and get the information out there and get the people engaged. So I'll also make essentially turn this into a petition, so we can start circulating a petition in our communities and online. People can get out there with the flyers, educating their neighbors and friends and counselors, and start getting signatures on this for the Simcoe County. And of course, next week when we meet back here, we will have the motion for Aurelia, so we can do the same thing in Aurelia and get that going, and for Barrie, and go from there.
I think Glenna has a
And I
couple
think-
of questions.
Yep, go ahead. Just
Can you hear me?
go ahead, Glenna.
Okay, sorry. So I started doing the signatures over the weekend. Some people are asking for electronic. So does it need to be original signatures to be sent off?
I think that we could post a poll online, but then it's no guarantee that the people doing the poll are from the area. And then the poll loses credibility. So we want to make sure that
I'm thinking more in terms of the withdrawal from the CPC program that I got from Shanine, and
okay.
I photocopied it, and I'm starting to get signatures. But people have said it would be so much easier, and you would be able to get more signatures if you went electronically.
What I could do is we could have one form that was in a petition style where people can gather signatures, and then we could have a statement of support that an individual could download and sign and send back to us. Would that,
all right,
and
I'm
then
going to hold
people,
off then on doing these until
and then
it's
people could get a link. Yeah, no, well, save what you have for us.
Yeah.
Because every signature matters, and at the end of the day, it's if the wording is pretty close, then that's good enough, right? So whatever you've collected with that original statement of support, that's great.
All right.
At the
Just
end of
one
the
more
day, it's the
question.
same recommendation to withdraw from the program, right? So
All right.
whether we've adjusted our rationale why to tailor it to be more for Simcoe County, and improved it really for the entire country who's looking at doing this, all the better. And okay, so that adds a couple more action items here.
Can I just ask you one
So
more question? I asked
yeah,
for two. Sorry. So, the bylaw, that for the indemnification of the current and former employees and council, I was able to get that from Tiny that was signed back in 2022 by our previous mayor. So, when I look at it, I'm assuming most municipalities have this, and this probably is the policy that they're referring to that they feel are protected. So what I'm doing is I'm going back to the NOLs. Did you get the copy that I sent to you, Maggie?
no, I didn't. So
Okay.
could
All
you,
right, I'm just going to send it off. And maybe when you're going to see the lawyers or sending stuff to them, you can have them have a look at it, because under the exclusions, I can see a lot of areas that they're breaking of that insurance. So that, anyways, just want
oh,
to send that.
fantastic. Okay,
Yep. So I'm
good.
assuming every municipality will have this, a copy of it. And so I'll let you have a look at that. And I hope I didn't say anything bad, but you barred me from video for the
Oh, no,
balance after I.
no,
So
not
I
at all.
thought,
Your video, the video was slow. So, and it was making it harder to hear you. So I thought by having
oh,
it off,
okay, sorry. I don't know what
your
went
voice,
wrong.
yeah, the voice is coming through better now, but you're welcome to try again, especially for our wave goodbyes. But
All
thank you for
right.
thank you for bringing up the NOLs again. And that sounds like a really good piece of information you've dug up there.
Great. Thank you.
Right.
So just three quick things if I could. On July 29th, there is a pride flag raising happening at the county of Simcoe at their wherever their address is. That's on July 29th. Number two is since we're getting a more focus on deputations, I'd be willing to do the deputation in New Tecumseh to our council. And number three, Kathy, if I could get a hold of you, I've been looking for a research group anyway, and since you have that hard copy, a Library of Alexandria, that'd be great. So maybe you and I can talk at a later date.
Yeah, that would be great. I just need some contact. This is my first meeting on here, so I don't know where any of you are at, but absolutely, for sure. I put my email address in the chat.
Fantastic. And I'll include all of you in the next email that goes out with our report from this meeting and an updated version of this report that we're looking at here, which I can stop sharing so we can have a proper view of everyone. There's everyone. Well, I'm sure everyone needs a bathroom break. And definitely some great discussion here today. Would next Monday at 10 work for the Simcoe group to meet again?
Yeah.
Okay, and definitely we can go back and forth in the emails. There'll be a few little action items and to do, so respond to the email and that way we can all have it in one spot. And yeah, really excited about this. So thank you everyone for joining. It's great to have our group here together. We have the perfect number right now. There's 8 of us plus 1 as a chair. So as I said at the beginning, that's a really good number for collaboration. It gives us the perfect amount of creativity and disagreement, but also collaboration and consensus. So I'm really happy with how things are moving with the Simcoe group, and we're going to set an example for the entire country. Even just watching this afterwards, people across the country will see, oh, okay, these are the questions to ask. These are the steps to take, and we can do this too, right?
I'm starting to feel a little like a minority here.
Get some more guys in, Terry.
I don't know. I kind of like this.
Testosterone.
We love you, Terry. Okay, any closing thoughts from anyone?
Thanks
If I could,
just a reminder to everybody that I think what we are battling out front is the mindset that most people you're talking to believe in the climate change as it's been presented to them. Always
Yes.
remember that as number one, I believe.
We'll work on that.
Yep.
I'm going to see if I can find out. I'm going to see if I can find out about the petitions, because I remember hearing in my life that they were not valid, anything on the computer, because anybody can do that. So my thing, it carries complete clout with handwritten, and it means that you've actually connected with the person directly. And
you have their address.
Yeah, it's easy
you
for
have
somebody
their address, you know that they're local.
Yeah, it's just easy for them, for somebody to put it on a computer list. Whereas if they actually sign it, they're, and you've had to talk with them, they get what's going on. It's not just out the window.
And the person you're handing the petition to cannot say, oh, well, that's possibly not real. That's fake. No, it's not.
Yeah.
You're at the door. This is the person who lives at this address.
And I have a PO box, so when people are gathering the signatures, they can simply scan them, send us the email, let us know what the number of signatures that they have are, and then they can put it in an envelope and send it to my PO box, and we can just have the hard copies when we finally go into the county. So
and it's great. It's a great way to connect with people at the door. I mean, that's what they do for elections. You go door to door, you talk directly to people. You know right away if you're dealing with somebody that they're not going to help at all. They're, it's very clear.
Yeah.
But you get people and they're really happy you've stopped and you've talked, and they get it, and they're looking for an out, to be able to say something about it. So I think those statements of support are perfect.
Wonderful.
Also,
and everyone who does it, we should let them know about the KICLEI newsletter so that they can stay up to date on the delegations and follow along with what's happening in the area. Yeah. So the flyers are good for that. They kind of direct people straight to the main page, but they also give you a spot for your local contacts, or a spot to make an announcement on an upcoming delegation or anything like that. And you can just drop it right in to a fillable spot on the PDF before you print it, or handwrite it after. Okay, lots of I got about an hour and a half of work to do to get this back out to you guys. So I'm going to get on that. And I think we'll all have a little bit of work to do, and we can meet back here next Monday at 10.
Thank you, Maggie, and everyone else. Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie.
Thank you.
Bless you all. I can't wait to get this out there to everyone in Simcoe County. I know people are just ready to go. So
take care.
end the recording.